What's going on, true believers? It's me, Shane, and I'm here to give you another What If episode review. Today's episode is episode 4 of season 2, entitled What If Tony Stark crashed into the Grandmaster. Before I go any further, please crash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of more videos like this. And if you want to support me even further, the Patreon is right there in the description. So, this episode is one of 3 episodes that got cut from that first season. And I know this because I remember distinctly that the first season of What If was supposed to be 12 episodes, and they cut it down to 9. And it's very easy to tell that this was supposed to be one of the episodes because they even address it in the beginning, right? And I feel as if that might have been added after the first season because the Gamora from here, the daughter of Thanos variant, is present with the Guardians of the Multiverse, which I'm using a lot of HeroClix names for some of these characters because, well, that they came out in HeroClix form, and they have better names than what they're not given in this episode. But the daughter of Thanos variant of Gamora, right? And we actually see the ending of their whole saga, I think, in that episode of the Guardians of the Multiverse when the Watchers gathering up the team when they're on that dwarf star with not Peter Dinklage doing the work on something. And he goes, "No, Stark, I'm not going for you. I'm going for Gamora." And it's so and this episode is it's funny, right? Because they had to frame it as if, it's about Gamora. Even in the beginning, hold on, because I'm gonna go all the way back. I got phone notes here. Because even in the beginning, and by the way, the intro song was kind of chopped up a bit. I don't know why. Maybe that was just on my end. I don't know, but it's weird. Because so he's saying that her moment to be a hero and her story began in someone else's, and it feels like that was such a tacked on thing because the whole entire beginning part is just reclips of that Guardians of the Multiverse when they did the Avengers jump down and they did the circle with everybody, Supreme Strange, Captain Carter, blah 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 blah, right? And the story literally starts with, remember how Tony stopped the nuke from hitting New York City, sent it through that wormhole in space, it hit the rest of the Chitauri, and the premise is he falls down into the wormhole, but nope, they get sucked back up because that is what technically happened to Hulk at the end of Age of Ultron. Like the plane kept going, and there was a wormhole, and it sucked him through, and he ended up in Sakaar. I think the name of that wormhole in Ragnarok, remember, this is a Taika Waititi production. I think it's called the Devil's Anus or something like that. I really do think that's what it was called. But this is that episode. This is that episode. The episode I've been really interested in seeing, especially after seeing the Sakaarian Iron Man click and seeing Iron Man in that special armor in that episode. And this episode leaves me going, why did you all not pick Iron Man? Right? Was it just so Tony wouldn't be in a position to die again? Because, fighting Ultron Vision, or is it Vision? No, Ultron Vision, fighting that guy could have killed him. I don't know. He's super smart. This is pre-Iron Man 3 Tony, right? Iron Man 3 Tony had the PTSD from going to space and getting and that horrible movie and all that other stuff. And here he's smart, suave Tony Stark. He still has the bracelet from that Mark III armor that he debuts. Well, this is Infinity War, but in the original Avengers movie, a lot of fun stuff. And the only thing that I felt was a tiny bit lacking was I never figured out how his armor got messed up, because when he called his armor later on to try and save Korg, he's like, why is it squishy here? It's obvious that he crash landed, but it's also obvious that somebody was messing with his stuff. So that's a tiny miss scene here. Pardon me. Guardians Multiverse drops in. Right. Right. I already told you guys the plot. So let's talk about the voice cast, right? Well, the cast itself includes Korg, Valkyrie, Gamora, Tony Stark, of course, Topaz, the monotone lady that's with the Grandmaster, Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster again, and Thanos, played by Josh Brolin. As you would guess it, Tony Stark is not played by Robert Downey Jr. He's played by one day I'm gonna get your name right, sir. Mick Wingert, who again I told you in my last review or review before last, he's played Tony in basically everything. Everything that doesn't include Robert Downey Jr., right? And someone who is not Zoe Saldana is Gamora. I'm kind of noticing pattern that the people who are award winners slash you would probably have to pay him a lot of money don't really show up. It's kind of strange because Tom Holland does his voice. Was he really not doing anything? It's really interesting. It's interesting. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Zoe Saldana, Scarlett Johansson, Dave Bautista, and Vin Diesel. Those are like six people. And Vin Diesel, well, he does record each I Am Groot, so I'm not gonna act like he only says one line, but it's fairly interesting, isn't it? Tons of pop culture references as with a Tony Stark esque episode with Happy Hogan Saving Christmas. We got that. In this one, we have okay. So where am I at here? Where am I here? Before I get to the pop culture, one of the things I did note here, I liked how, remember in Thor Ragnarok when the Grandmaster put the little things on their neck and that's how you control them? I do like that even though he got Tony with it, Tony's able to get out of it because he has an arc reactor and he has the bracelet on, which he goes, one of the joys of having an arc reactor in your chest, you get the stuff out. So here's these pop culture references. Grandmaster wants to call him Metal Mojo Man. He said, "How about Mojo?" That is a direct reference because those of you who are fans of the comics of X-Men or X-Men animated series, or even the video games, you know Mojo, the big, fat, nasty, interdimensional TV executive who basically does death games for the entertainment of different galaxies to watch and take in, which is Grandmaster's kind of a watered down version of that. And here, more or less, right? There's no indication that him and Collector are brothers, by the way, in the MCU. They really should. I hope they mention that somewhere down the line. But Grandmaster's kind of filling that Mojo role. Tin Man, that is one of the insults that people swing at Tony, call him Tin Man. And then Rocket Man, which Elton John. That's another interesting joke they throw at Tony Stark, which they have settled on. What do they call him? They call him so many things. He's called Mojo Man, or he's called Ho Ho Man, which I don't know where the Ho Ho part comes in because Iron Man is FE. He'll be Fee Man. You get weird stuff going on here. Like instead of throwing rotten vegetables, because the Grandmaster, there's a famine and he doesn't take care of these people at all, which is something that we didn't get a hint of that in Ragnarok. We got that he ruled with an iron fist, but we didn't get that the people were also being downtrodden because, they were living their day-to-day life. But dude is pretty much, even mentioned one time that the water turned to blood at one point. Just gross. So that he had people throw tin cans, funny enough, and chinchillas at Valkyrie after she crashed. She's also in the death race. But going into this, we have another reference where Demon in a Bottle is mentioned, where he's trying to get Valkyrie to work with him and Korg. Goes, yeah, you're trying to drown that demon in the bottle, which is funny because she says demon in a bottle is piss water. Demon rum is where it's at, which I'll get to that. Well, Demon in a Bottle was technically Iron Man 2 was supposed to adapt the Demon in a Bottle storyline with Tony and his alcoholism. That movie had tons of changes. It wasn't supposed to be Whiplash. It was supposed to be Crimson Dynamo. which again, I wish Iron Man hadn't been killed because there's at least 2 or 3 more Iron Man villains that I wish we could have gotten. But that's what reboots and Avengers movies are for, I guess. But yeah, Demon and Bottle storyline mentioned here. Um, the drink. When Tony takes a shot of this drink and it just instantly knocks him down. Remember, Tony is a drinker. And the ongoing joke in here, and this is just 36 minutes, but ongoing joke here is he can get a decent drink that doesn't taste bad. And for something like this to knock him out, it's a lot of reminiscence, at least for me, of when Tony started joining the Guardians of the Galaxy and the all new, was that all new, all different? Marvel at the time. I can't, like Marvel's New 52 when he joined the Guardians of the Galaxy. He had a bit of a romance with Gamora. Seems like he was having bedroom issues. I haven't. Look, Ryan Michael Bendis wrote that. I'm not even going to get into that. What is that? The nicknames he gave Korg, he called Korg Mount Rushmore, which is hilarious. And then he told a rock and roll joke. He said, I had to tell a joke. One of the nice things in here. Oh, yeah, Mammoth stuff, that doesn't matter. Tony goes to save Korg. And one of the things that's interesting in here is that he's talking to Gamora, trying to, first of all, he didn't know why she was trying to kill him. Obviously, she's trying to kill him because he showed up Thanos on Earth. So as opposed to everything going the way it should have gone with doing the Ronin thing, and then eventually you get there, and Tony never actually meets Gamora in the MCU. But in here, she's trying to avenge that glorious defeat that they gave Thanos by beating the Chitauri. And once Tony's able to understand and put the pieces together, he's rightfully pissed. He said, people died in that. I lost a friend. That's shouting out to Coulson, Agent Coulson, Phil Coulson. I lost a friend in there. He's trying to get back to Pepper, but Gamora saying, well, you can't beat him. He takes over planets. And Tony, this is the first time. This is the first hit at him chipping away that, Thanos coding around Gamora's heart. Because he says, do you know what it feels like to have your planet, try to be taken over by someone and lose people? Yeah, she does, actually. That's actually her backstory. He took half of the population, killed half of them, and took her as his daughter. And it was funny because Grandmaster, when mentioning that that's the daughter of Thanos, he goes, because I think he said, yeah, right, because this really is, they don't look alike. Obviously, it's just a title that her and Nebula share, but yeah. I already mentioned the Coulson thing. And so, hold on, make sure I'm not jumping ahead of anything. Iron Man 3, boo. I really don't like Iron Man 3. Tony's whole point, and I am going to skip ahead in my notes a bit. Tony's whole point about why he's going to save the people, Sakaar, because he says to Korg, hey, does my gut about this guy, is it right? Grandmaster actually used Korg as a paperweight, and we get a rock, paper, scissors joke again in the same season. This is from episode 1. There was a rock, paper, scissors joke. We get a rock, paper, scissors joke here, where he says he used me for a literal paperweight, and paper is my nemesis. Again, Korg being Korg, Taika Waititi hitting those funny notes, but he gets Val along, and because even Korg's what did Korg say? Korg says, are you really going to risk yourself for this alien junk planet? He's going by campground rules. Leave a place better than how you found it. And part of it is he wants to prove Gamora wrong and liberate these people just to, shove it to her and Thanos. Which, man, they really didn't hone in on Ragnarok that Sakaar was really bad. You just got the idea that it's a junk planet. there's a dictator. It's a battle world. He entertains the masses with, gladiator games. I do like the Death Race thing, which is a huge nod and homage to Death Race and Mad Max. That was pretty cool. I like that spin in this. This is probably one of the first what if where the variant world does something different and it's not explained as, oh well, before the gladiator games we did this. No, this is what they do. Apparently time moves differently there. At least that's what the Grandmaster said. Time moves differently, even though you see the footage of him having saved everybody. I don't know how they're getting this footage. It's the same thing where Rocket set up a tower on nowhere so that cell reception works really well. It's weird, but okay. And I already mentioned he's trying to get back to Pepper, but his whole point gonna beat this guy. But like I was saying before, they don't really it's not really, you don't see that in Ragnarok, which outside of like the gladiators doing a mutiny because hey, we don't want to fight to the death. We like some of these people, and then breaking out and doing all that other stuff. You get that from the gladiators. You didn't really get it from the people. And I do like that this speaks more on Tony's person. Like, I can't leave these people here and just go home. No shade on Thor. Thor had other things to deal with, like everybody he knows and loves being killed by Hela, having to deal with that, not having a hammer, identity crisis, trying to stop Ragnarok, Ragnarok coming on, stuff like that, right? Um, Real fun scenes. Another court joke where they calls the chinchilla that stays with that stays with Valkyrie Nikios, and he said after my friend Greg, which doesn't make sense. Again, he mentioned his friend Greg in the original Ragnarok movie, but the death race is really cool. Tony against chipping at Gamora, saying, "Hey, look, I'm not my dad. Follow my dad footsteps. Let me to do some really messed up stuff. I know you do some messed up stuff. Look, be your own person. Don't live in the past. Live in today, right now. Are you the daughter of Thanos, or actually, I don't even know your name?" And she says her name's Gamora when she joins him. Right? I like that. I like that he was able to pushing her forward, and it's really, really interesting to think that Tony Stark has legitimate connections with several characters. Like if he had met Valkyrie, he would have a connection with her. If he met Gamora, he would have a connection with her, right? Being able to go, yeah, I tried to drown my sorrows too, as opposed to Thor going, you could be in glorious battle again. Going to Gamora, yeah, I got daddy issues just like you. We can be better than our old men. To which, well, I'll get to that in a second. But Valkyrie accidentally melts the Grandmaster by saving Tony with her car at the very end, which makes her king. She makes court special counsel. So again, she gets to be king of this whole entire planet and save people. It seems to be her destiny to be ruling over someone, right? Now, the Sakaran Iron Man armor is so damn cool. Like, first of all, I mentioned that Tony Stark is Tony Stark in here. He is Tony Stark, and he's able to hack into his comms, make other technology where he puts a thing in Gamora's car. She's being forced to ride in the death race because he challenged the Grandmaster. And the Grandmaster is not all that smart. Topaz and Gamora both like, you don't have to do this because you already have the planet. Like, dude's a genius. Yeah, but I'm a super genius. Yeah. Yeah, it's so easy to trick this idiot. But he's able to put a thing in there so he can communicate with her, and he can still broadcast to the people watching. This armor turns into a F1 racer. A callback to Iron Man 2, where Tony Stark kicked his driver out and drove his car himself, because Tony can drive a race car on top of being able to fly planes and helicopters as well. Fun fact, he can do those things. But yeah, It's the scene where he's in the armor and he has a literal chariot because the Grandmaster been calling these chariot races, and Tony's just like it's intergalactic NASCAR. Once that thing gets broken, the in the air scene. I hope this is the Tony Stark I get in Secret Wars. Like I hope there's a version of this Tony Stark shows up, still has a connection with Peter Parker, so that he can be like, oh man, I thought you died, Peter. But I need this armor because the midair scene of him in the air, the armor turns into the car, he's in the car, and then when a race is over, jumping up in the armor, forming back on him. I feel like I was cheated. I want to see more of that. I'm probably going to end up watching this episode over and over again just for that. Literally my favorite scene is just all of that. Leave it to the MCU to make me before Robert Downey Jr. I was never a big Iron Man fan, but just how his armors and stuff work, this is super damn cool. So, what happens at the end? Well, in order to wrap all this up and make it about Gamora, let's go over here. Let me say the quote that the Watcher gives to us, right? Uh it's not the punches thrown, but the people that change the outcome of the battle. It's connection, it's love, friendship. It's knowing someone has your back in a fight. And it ends with her bringing Tony into Thanos calling him Iron Man and not any of those weird names, and Tony calls her G. I thought that was funny. Calls her G, and they grabbed a little melty thing and used the melty thing. She uses the melty thing on Thanos, and the last thing you see is her face snarling. If that was the original ending, which I wouldn't doubt, because I don't think the words, I don't think that original speech was in there, but I I don't think the original speech was in there at all. You had to find a way to tie it back and be like, yeah, this is why we chose her, right? She chose her destiny. Whatever. But I think it is kind of cool that she just melted or was going to melt Thanos. By the way, Grandmaster was melted. I think this dude, if I'm correct, at least in the comics, Grandmaster is a celestial, just like the Collector. They're celestials. Because that's the only way that this guy can be melted and still talking. He's telling Topaz, get a bucket, get a sponge or something. I need to be absorbed. Ooh, ew. Jeff Goldblum is Jeff Goldblum, and it is fantastic. Another funny part is when they go to a long slope in this evil death Mario Kart battle. And while everybody's screaming and they're following and falling, and you have Court going, oh, hell no. You have Topaz. She's so monotone the whole time. She's going, we. Ridiculous. Fun episode. Very fun episode. I'm a little bit biased here. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 just because that armor stuff alone. Really good spin. Really, really good spin. This second season, man, they're doing a great job, like picking certain moments. Picking certain moments. And it was it the last time we had Tony Stark in a What If episode. He got killed. It was Hank Pym going, you all killed my daughter. Shut up. We had that. We had the zombie where he had to be, we had to get rid of him. Yeah, Killmonger saving him and then killing him. Like, damn. Wait a minute. I think that's why the Watcher didn't take Tony along. Like I said at the very beginning. In all those what ifs, Tony died. Sheesh. I don't. Oof. Yeah. So I'm glad this Tony didn't bite the dust. Hope to see him in the future. Maybe season 3. Or maybe he shows up in the rest of these episodes. I do have. Oh no. This is just episode 4. I got 5 more episodes to go, so maybe he shows up again. Don't tell me in the comments if you already seen it. Just don't tell me, please. Man. Post Iron Man 3, Tony, better. I mean, sorry, post Avengers Tony, better than Iron Man 3 Tony. I stand on that. Again, let me know what you think of the episode. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Please don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of more videos like this. I appreciate you all coming out, watching the video. Please be good, be blessed. Wash your hands, drink some water. All right. Be good to yourselves, be good to others. Either way it goes, don't be a jerk. All right. If you want to support me further, my Patreon's in the description below. Also, my social medias. I'm inviting you to follow me. Leave me a message. Just don't be a jerk about it. I'm dealing with a lot of jerks on Instagram. So just don't be a jerk about it. All right. And remember, you're not a jerk either. There are people out there that care about you, that love you, that would rather talk to you today than to miss you and more you tomorrow. So just reach out to someone and talk to someone, especially if you're having some really heavy mental health days. All right. All right, true believers. Until next time, I can't wait to see you. Excelsior.